The bell above the diner door rang softly as the quiet little girl walked in again, small boots dusted with winter snow, eyes lowered, shoulders carrying a weight no child should ever bear. Every afternoon at exactly 4 o'clock, she slipped into the same corner booth, clutching a worn backpack and staring at the menu as if it were a test she could never pass. And every afternoon, one waitress noticed. One waitress cared. But no one in that tiny diner was prepared for the day a black luxury car stopped outside, and a millionaire stepped in with two bodyguards, his eyes scanning the room until they landed on his daughter. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet power of compassion, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel Ripple of Kindness. Stories like this remind us that even the smallest act can change a life. The diner sat on a busy city street, warm and golden inside against the gray chill of late autumn. Lily, the waitress, was 26, with chestnut hair tied neatly in a ponytail and gentle eyes that had seen both struggle and survival. She worked double shifts most days, balancing rent, bills, and the memory of a childhood where kindness had been rare. Maybe that was why she noticed the little girl the first day she walked in alone. The girl couldn't have been more than 8. Her name, Lily would later learn, was Emma. She wore the same plum-colored winter coat every day, the faux fur around the hood slightly frayed. Her light brown hair fell loosely over her shoulders, and her wide blue eyes always seemed to be searching for something, safety perhaps, or reassurance. She never ordered much, sometimes just a glass of milk, sometimes nothing at all. The first afternoon Lily approached her gently, offering the children's menu and a smile that held no pity, only warmth. Emma whispered that she wasn't very hungry. Lily nodded as if that was the most natural thing in the world and brought her a small cupcake anyway, placing it down with quiet confidence. She told Emma it was an end-of-day extra that would have been thrown away. It wasn't true, but Emma didn't need to know that. That became their silent routine. Every day at 4, Emma arrived. Every day Lily found a reason to bring her something small, a cupcake with whipped cream, a grilled cheese sandwich cut into careful triangles, a warm bowl of soup when the weather turned colder. She never made it look like charity. She made it feel like friendship. Over time, Emma began to speak a little more. She said her father was always busy. She said the house was big and quiet. She said she liked the diner because it felt alive. Lily listened, not interrupting, not prying. She understood loneliness. It had a soundless echo, and she could hear it in the child's pauses. The other staff noticed too. Some whispered that the girl must be from a wealthy family. Her coat, though worn, was designer. A sleek car occasionally dropped her off at the corner before quickly disappearing. But no one saw a parent walk her in. No one saw anyone sit beside her. One rainy Thursday, Emma didn't show up at 4. Lily kept glancing at the door, her heart tightening with a worry she didn't fully understand. At 5, still nothing. At 6, the dinner rush swallowed her concern, but the absence lingered like a missing note in a familiar song. The next day, Emma returned, quieter than ever. Her eyes were red, her small fingers twisting the edge of her sleeve. Lily felt it immediately. Something had shifted. She brought her the usual cupcake, but Emma didn't touch it. Instead, she looked toward the door as if expecting someone to appear. And then it happened. The bell above the door rang sharply, and conversation in the diner softened to a murmur. A tall man stepped inside, wearing a tailored navy overcoat over a dark suit. His salt and pepper hair was neatly combed, his expression controlled but intense. Behind him stood two broad-shouldered men in black suits, their presence unmistakable. The man's eyes scanned the room until they found Emma. In that instant, Lily understood. This was her father. He moved toward the booth with measured steps, the bodyguards remaining near the entrance. Emma froze, her small shoulders stiffening. Lily stood a few feet away, heart pounding, unsure whether to retreat or stay. The man sat across from his daughter, studying her as though seeing her clearly for the first time. His gaze shifted briefly to the untouched cupcake, then to Lily. There was no anger in his eyes, only something heavier: realization. He had been told, perhaps by a driver or an assistant, that his daughter came here every afternoon. He had finally decided to see it for himself. And what he saw was not a reckless child wandering alone. He saw a lonely little girl finding comfort in a stranger's kindness. Lily approached slowly, her hands steady despite the tension in the air. She explained gently that Emma liked to sit there after school. She mentioned how bright she was, how polite, how she always finished her homework before leaving. She didn't mention the free food. She didn't mention the sadness. The millionaire listened without interrupting. His jaw tightened, not in anger, but in regret. He had built an empire from nothing, turning long nights and relentless ambition into success beyond imagination. Boardrooms knew his voice. Investors respected his name. But somewhere between meetings and mergers, he had missed the quiet cry of the one person who needed him most. Emma looked at her father with uncertain hope. It was a look that broke something inside him. That afternoon, he did something unexpected. He removed his phone from his pocket and turned it off. He slid into the booth beside his daughter instead of across from her. He picked up the small fork and tasted the cupcake, smiling faintly as if rediscovering something simple and sweet. In the weeks that followed, the black car still appeared, but now the father stepped inside with Emma. The bodyguards waited outside. He ordered coffee and sat with her, sometimes in silence, sometimes listening as she described her day. The diner became their bridge back to each other. One evening, after closing time, the millionaire approached Lily privately. He thanked her, not with a grand gesture, not with a check waved dramatically, but with sincere words that trembled slightly. He admitted he had nearly lost the most important relationship in his life. He said her quiet kindness had opened his eyes. Soon after, he made a donation to support community programs for children who felt alone. He insisted it remain anonymous. The only public change was subtle but meaningful. He began leaving the office earlier. Emma's laughter started to fill the diner instead of silence. Lily never sought recognition. She simply continued serving tables, tying her hair back, offering warmth where she could. But every time she saw father and daughter sharing a booth, she felt something powerful settle in her chest, the reminder that small acts ripple outward in ways we may never fully see. Before this story ends, I want to ask you something special. If you've ever experienced a moment when someone's small kindness changed your life, comment "Kindness matters" below. Because here's the truth: not every hero wears a cape. Some wear aprons. Some carry trays of cupcakes, and some are simply brave enough to notice a quiet child sitting alone. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to Ripple of Kindness. Your support helps spread stories that remind the world we can still choose compassion. In a world racing towards success, power, and endless ambition, it was a simple cupcake in a warm diner that rebuilt a family. And sometimes that's all it takes: a ripple of kindness, steady and sincere, turning loneliness into love.